So stuff like that is really going to be leading the way, I think, down the road, because people aren't just not going to want to go visit. And I think that's really going to change and it's going to be driven by the consumers, by the buyers and sellers.
Hi, welcome to the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast. I'm here today with Tony Iacoviello again, and we're all in our separate homes trying to get some business and working.
Yeah, and stay safe and healthy and all that sort of stuff.
Stay safe,
There you go.
healthy, and positive is what I've been saying, because positive is important right now.
Yeah, it's easy to get down. It's easy to get bored and not know what to do and all this other kind of stuff. But brighter days are ahead. So have fun in the meantime and get ready for them when they come.
Exactly. So you've been having fun. What are
Yes.
your things that you do right now? Being confined?
Well, aside from stuff like this, I've been doing a bunch of podcasts with a bunch of people, which is always fun. So we get to talk to a lot of people about a lot of different things. So it's always good. But I think you're referring to our nightly trivia games that we're playing. So Monday to Friday, we kind of got bored, and we're sitting around. I have my 2 teenage sons. They go back and forth between my house and their mom's house, and we just needed something to do, something that was fun. So we figured, we could go on Facebook Live and play trivia with all our friends. So my son will sit in and co-host with me sometimes. So we've done mostly grabbed online trivia, and then through Zoom meetings like this one, we just invited a bunch of people to come on, like make it into like a game show. And we've been playing, we did Friends, we did How I Met Your Mother, The Simpsons, The Office, Sex and the City one, where we had 4 different ladies competing, and a co-host, my one female co-host from Victoria, BC, and they all put their little black dresses on and got their Cosmos, and I got my shirt and tie on, and we did a Sex and the City trivia night, and so we had a lot of fun doing that kind of thing. We've done Family Feud, so we had a couple of different families on, and my son was Steve Harvey, and I was like the little co-host. He asked all the questions. We had buzzers and the whole deal, and just having a lot of fun connecting with people, making sure everybody's all right, making everybody happy, having a little bit of fun, blowing off a little bit of steam, and just having fun with people.
Yeah, very good. And then now after that, what do you think is the market going to be like? What's your life going to be like after everything goes back to normal?
Yeah, hopefully better.
Yeah.
You get the overused kind of terms. Now everybody's like, well, it's going to be the new normal, and these are unprecedented times, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Eventually things will slowly get back to a version of what we had before, for sure. Like a lot of things, just daily life's going to change. Like, I mean, we've talked before too, and the maybe grocery stores are going to be a little bit different going forward. A lot of them have those plexiglass shields up now to protect the cashiers and whatnot, but those will probably stay. So I mean, they'll probably just leave those there in place, and so the way we do that will change. The way we do a lot of banking and just work, like a lot of people who are working at home right now will probably just continue to work at home, and that'll just be the way it changes. For me, and as far as where the market is going, I don't think anybody really knows. Like, eventually at some point, people have to buy and sell homes. Like, they have to have a place to live, right? And they move because of work and the various other reasons why they move. So things will kind of move back in that direction, whether it takes a year or 18 months or 2 years, who knows. So we're expecting a lot of different things to happen. It'll probably be really busy once everything, the province and the country sort of gives the okay to kind of go back to doing open houses and that sort of thing. There'll probably be a big burst of activity. And then after that, it'll probably calm down a little bit, because there's people waiting. There'll be people that have to sell their houses, unfortunately, because their job situation has changed. People that just wanted to sell their houses and have been waiting. People have been looking to buy. So it'll probably be really, really busy at first. And then when the dust settles, we'll kind of see where it's at. But I think, we're going to talk about, I guess, the way we're going to change just how we do business. I think that's going to be a pretty significant change. A lot of stuff's virtual.
Like, what do you think about the virtual, about what the next steps are going to be?
So like, I've worked with you for a long time at Sold Right Away.
Mm.
So we've been doing virtual stuff for years now, right?
Yeah.
So we've been doing like, you've always done my photography and then like the walkthrough videos. And then as soon as Matterport 3D tours were available, we started doing them too. Clients really love that stuff. Like, so if you ever look at the actual statistics, not just what real estate agents think or what we want or wish would happen. If you look at the actual statistics from the National Association of Realtors in the US, or you look at the Ontario Real Estate Association just did a buyer seller survey, first time ever in the province. And really what they want is information and things like floor plans. Like
Yeah.
you would think the fancy videos and that sort of thing, they're all there and they're useful. But what they really want, like usually number 3 or 4 on their list, are things like floor plans. So with Matterport 3D, we've always been able to do just floor plans, like the traditional style builders, floor plans, where the bathroom is and how big it is and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then it adds that 3D element to it that you can just blow it up and look at it like a dollhouse and spin it around and look at it from all different angles, look at it with furniture in place in 3 dimensions, walk through it eventually, zoom in and walk through it. So stuff like that is really going to be leading the way, I think, down the road, because people aren't just not going to want to go visit. Like there's one family back in August of 2019, which seems like a million years ago now. But just in August with this one family, I visited almost 40 homes
Wow.
from Niagara to Hamilton.
Wow.
And they weren't like, tire kickers or anything like that. They were really serious. We actually had offers on a couple properties and competitions and here and there that just didn't work out.
Mhm.
So they weren't like tire kickers, right? They were very serious, but really that was the only way for us to really get to know these properties, because a lot of agents just weren't using the technology.
Yeah.
It's just, a lot of these properties had maybe 10 photos, which you really can't tell much with.
Yeah.
So we had to go visit them in person and we had to see them. And I think that's really going to change, and it's going to be driven by the consumers, by the buyers and sellers,
Mhm.
because sellers don't necessarily want 40 or 50 people walking through their homes anymore.
No.
And they don't necessarily, and buyers don't necessarily want to walk through 20, 30, 40 people's homes and expose them and their families, even in non sort of times that we're in, just regular things like in flu season or whatever and that sort of stuff. People are getting a little bit more knowledgeable, I guess, about the risks involved, and they're just being more careful. So they're going to be looking at people like yourself, provide the services that you do and I do, to kind of find ways for them to still buy and sell properties, but do it much in a much safer way.
Yes. And you were talking about a way to qualify your buyers, not just get
Yeah.
anyone into the houses too. To
Yeah, so we've talked for years and years, and the industry's pretty wide, right? So there's a lot of different ways that people do business. The way I've always conducted my business, and the realtors and stuff that I really look up to and respect, and sometimes use as mentors for myself, is, when we have a buyer, we take them through the process, right? We make sure that they're pre-qualified, that they didn't just go on a website, for 2 seconds and find and think that they can buy a house for $500,000. Like they've actually sat down with a mortgage specialist from a bank or a mortgage broker, whoever the lender is that they're going to use, and they've gone through their financials and they know that, yes, I can afford to buy a house that's $500,000. Then we go out and look at properties that meet their criteria, right? So we just make sure that that they're qualified. So we're not just, somebody doesn't call and we just jump and run and run up to a property and take somebody through $1 million house who can't
That's
even afford a
funny.
$200,000 house.
Yeah.
That happens, unfortunately, and it's just something that's never was acceptable and is even less acceptable now. But yeah, and then the other part of it is making sure that the buyers, like, we really understand what it is that they're looking for, like in terms of the neighborhood, in terms of the house, in terms of schools and access to amenities, access to transit, etc. So that we send them properties to look at that actually meet their criteria. And we're not just shotgunning a million properties at them and hoping something sticks, right?
Yeah. And all this will become virtually too, like Google Street View. Check the neighborhood first, see what you're interested in,
Mm,
see what the houses look like around, and then the
yeah.
3D walkthrough. You can do that online with your buyers, and
Yeah.
And then as long as other agents are doing it too, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna, the demand, it's always based on demand. So if that's what the consumers are looking for,
Hmm.
the agents who are gonna be able to conduct business are the ones that meet the demands of the consumer.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're looking for, 100%, like we'd much rather send all this information and give them the ability to do things like a 3D walkthrough of a house and understand the space that they're in, do the Google Street View, like combine all these things together so that I've mentioned to you before, we've talked, like there have been times when you're kind of in a hurry. The buyers are coming from out of town, so they haven't had a chance to come and see the neighborhoods. Even though like we've put out community videos
Yes.
repeatedly over the years to try and give people an idea of what the communities are like before they actually get out there. Sometimes they just don't look at that, and they just don't have a chance to go to the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, occasionally I've been in situations, and I know a lot of my realtor friends have been, where you show up at the house, either I've just got out of the car or the buyers got there a few seconds before me, and they don't even get out of the car, and they just kind of roll down their window and they're like, no, like we don't want to live here, we don't like this neighborhood. And now it's like, well, we've asked the seller to leave their house, and I've
Clean.
got to make the phone call to their agent to say I'm really really sorry, but you know they just don't, we didn't even go in the house. And so it was really a waste of time for everybody involved, and a very big inconvenience for the sellers, because it could be an older couple, it could be a younger couple with children, and it's just a real hassle for them to get out of their house for that period of time.
Hmm.
And with doing things virtually, we can avoid a lot of those headaches, right? Aside from the safety factor that comes in with not being exposed to a lot of different people in your home, who like people are people, like they'll walk through your home with an agent even, but they cough and they sneeze and they touch things, and you can't always keep track of everything that they're doing. And if they bring their children along, it's even harder to do.
Yeah.
So even just bringing in a little bit more stricter guidelines when possible, to like leave the children at home. Only
Yeah.
the people really making the decision have to be there to view the properties, and just getting them educated, like I said, from the tools that you provide us, um, getting them educated ahead of time so that we can weed out a lot of the properties they don't like. And the
Yeah.
3D tour, I'll tell you, is perfect for that. I can't tell you how many people have looked at the Matterport tour, the ones that we've put out there or the ones that other agents have provided, and they'll say like, I've just spent 20-30 minutes walking through your house.
Yeah.
And they don't do that with photos.
No.
Like they just don't.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah, and they'll have a better idea of things. Like I was dealing with one family, I was trying to help them find a property, and their daughter has mobility issues. So she rides a scooter most of the day, but when she comes home, she needs to be able to get in the side door of the property. Like a lot of bungalows have a little side entrance,
Yes.
and the landing needs to be big enough for her to come in and with her big backpacks and stuff and turn around. And
Hmm.
you can't tell that from photos. You really really can't tell the space from photos. But when I showed them 3D tours of some properties, they could actually walk down the stairs and stand on the landing and turn around
Check
and look
around.
around, and
See how much space there is. You can.
yeah, and get a very good feel about, okay, yeah, there is actually a lot of space here, or no there isn't, it's too small.
Hmm.
And like, take that house off my list, but let's for sure go see this one.
Yeah.
Right, so those kind of tools are going to be really really in high demand, I think,
Hmm.
as they should be.
Yeah. For sure. What else are you doing right now to get ready for after?
Sit-ups and push-ups every day,
No.
eating
Are you
my
like keeping in touch with
vegetables.
your clients? Get ready, working on your marketing.
No, of course, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like right now, it's difficult. Like in the marketing thing, at least a
Mhm.
lot of people feel that it's difficult. Like they feel that they want to market. We're salespeople. We're type A type people for the most part. We want to accomplish things. We want to help our clients, achieve their goals, and we want to achieve our own goals. So we have this feeling that they want to market, but right now, like selling is very difficult. Like people, and deserve, rightly so, are not in the mindset that they really want to think about necessarily buying and selling homes.
Mhm.
So really that kind of marketing is sort of tone deaf right now. It's very hard. So really all we're doing, at least all I'm doing, and I know a lot of other agents that I know, is just reaching out to people,
Yeah.
like people that I've done business with, people that I've helped buy homes, within the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 8 years that I've been around. and just asking if I can help. Like, what is it? Making sure that they're doing okay. Because pretty much, I can't say I'm best friends with all the clients I ever had, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are on my Facebook page, and they play the trivia games. They've joined in and played the trivia games with us and stuff like that. They keep track of what I'm doing, and I keep track of what they're doing. So yeah, just reaching out to them,
Hmm.
making sure that they're okay, asking what their plans are going forward, if I can help in any way.
Yeah.
A lot of people just need to know like the value of their home, because they might be needing to take out a loan against their property, like a line of credit or something. That might be something that they need because maybe one or both of them are off work right now.
Hmm.
So they're not planning on selling or buying anytime soon, but they need a little bit of information to help kind of help them get by. And for the ones that are, I mean, we need to sit down and really have a discussion of what their situation is like, and just make sure that we can get the resources available for them, that we can help them as best we can and make whether they're buying or selling a property a successful transaction.
And you've been an agent, you said 8 years. So you've been through the hard time, easy time, hard time.
A little bit, yeah. Well,
So
there's a little bit of that.
how
Yeah.
would you, what would you say to a new realtor that just showed up and when it was booming and now struggling?
Hmm.
What do you say to those agents?
Yeah. Well, it's a different time, right? And I remember, I mean, I came into real estate a little bit older, like in my late 30s. So I've been a homeowner multiple times and been through various markets and other industries and stuff like that. So I've been around long enough to see recessions, and all different types of things in different markets, in real estate and otherwise. And really what's coming up is going to be a difficult time for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
if everything goes back to normal, great. I mean, that's, everybody can kind of just go back to the way their lives were, maybe being a little bit more cautious with the various things and keeping an eye on how they're conducting their business, etc. But chances are there's going to be a fair number of people that have some financial hardship. That usually causes a lot of family stress, personal stress for them.
Mhm.
So we need to be the people that can step up to that. And a lot of agents who maybe have come in the industry in the last maybe 4 or 5 years and have seen nothing but growth
Good.
year after year, increasing prices year after year, like, don't necessarily understand or know how to deal with suddenly a market where the prices go down,
Mhm.
and go down significantly, right? And not only pricing, which is one issue, like how to manage that and how to understand what's happening with the pricing of the market, but just dealing with people, trying to help them as best we can. Because we joke a lot in real estate that we're people's psychologists or psychiatrists or bartenders
Counselors.
or hairdresser, however you want to think about it.
Mhm.
But it's true. I mean, we're dealing with their what is usually their largest financial asset, that creates in and of itself on a good day, creates a lot of stress for people. Having to sell it, making sure that they get the price that they need for it, get the money they need for it, so that they can move into another property. In addition to all this other stuff, people are still, kids are still graduating from high school and college, university. Families are still, unfortunately going through divorces, and other people are getting married. So all these different things are happening on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So it can be stressful, and you need to be, understand how to have that conversation with people, how to do it in a way that's respectful, that makes them not embarrassed or ashamed to talk to you about their real serious financial position that they're in, because there are some people that will need help,
Yeah.
and we need to be able to have those resources available, whether it's various forms of financing that they might need, private lending, in addition to traditional lending. Maybe it's legal assistance, even things like just somebody to come and help them clean up their house.
Yeah.
If they're that stressed out and that emotionally, distraught, getting their house ready for sale is hard. It's hard on like I said, on a good day. So
Mhm.
sometimes just having the resources to bring the right people in that can help them clean up their house, get it staged, do the photos and video like you do the virtual staging if needed, the way that you do, cleaning up things and adding furniture to vacant properties. Uh, all that sort of thing comes to bear. And if this time that we're sort of slow, and we're at home, and we're wondering what to do, is probably a good time to start reaching out and getting a book of those resources available, so that when you need them,
You're
they're
right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. So you're saying get educated, get your
Yeah.
partners on track, and get ready, right?
Yeah, get your own. It's a tough time. Like it's tough to get motivated. A
Yeah.
lot of times when you're in your house by yourself, that kind of thing. People are used to going into an office and talking to people and
Okay.
getting out there and seeing clients and stuff. But yeah, I think they need to, at least in some part, you got to get your finances in order. I mean, do your taxes. They've been delayed for a little while, but you still got to
That's
submit them. Get your taxes done, get your finances in order so that
good.
when things do are ready to go. You've got your marketing ready. You've reached out to people like yourself at Sold Right Away to figure out, like, if you've never done 3D tours before,
Yeah.
or videos and that sort of thing, or drone videos and all that sort of stuff, virtual staging, what's involved with that, and what you offer. So reaching out and just getting all that ready, so that when it's time to go, it's time to go. Like
Yeah.
we don't really have time to drag your feet at that point because people are going to be ready to go.
Yeah, and it's gonna be that burst at first for sure. So it's gotta
Mhm.
be ready, and then we'll see, right?
Yeah, and then you just, what, you deal with the market as it comes, like any other year, right? There's going to be really busy years where you're doing very well, and but you've also got a lot of expenses and stuff. And then there's other years where the market's just kind of quiet. And, it's been a while since we've had that, where the market is just average or quiet.
Mhm.
And you got to know how to just deal with that too. So again, getting your finances in order, all that sort of stuff, making a plan so that you're, as best as you can, you're not sort of month to month, because even going out and selling a house today, like most realtors know, we don't get paid
Not
for,
get
for 2 or 3 months
yeah,
until that house closes, right? So even though we're working really hard today, the impact isn't really felt for another month or 2 months or 3 months down the road. So you really have to know how to plan and spread out your income, because it does come in big waves, and then for a while there's nothing. So you really have to know how to just manage your spending, manage your finances, manage your expenses, and just sort of ride the wave as best you can, right?
mm, fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your knowledge, sharing all of that. Always good
Okay.
talking to you, anyways.